AITA for telling my sister who can't have kids that she does not get to be a part of naming mine and my wife's babies. My sister can't have biological kids and also has health issues that prevent her from adopting. She's always dreamed of motherhood and had a list of baby names she hoped to use one day. My wife and I are expecting our first child, and my sister shared her favorite names with us. While we appreciated it, none of them were our style, so we told her we'd decide on our own. But she kept pushing to be part of the naming process, and I firmly refused. Now, she's upset, and my mom thinks I lack compassion. My older sister, 34F, was born without the reproductive organs required to have a biological child. Because of her condition, she also has some other health problems which disqualify her from adopting due to the uncertainty around her quality and length of life. She was aware for most of her life that she couldn't have biological children. That was discovered when she was still very young, but the rest came throughout her 20s. She had dreams of motherhood and had lists of baby names she wanted to use, but she will never be able to use them on children that are hers. What I, 28M, did not know at the time was she had saved her baby names and was hoping she would get to name or help name my future children. My wife, 27F, and I are expecting our first child. We haven't announced the sex, but my sister thinks we're having a girl and shared her girl names with us. We thanked her and said we, wife and I, would discuss what the name would be at some point. My sister looked upset by the response, and she then shared her boy names, thinking she got it wrong. We gave her the same response. My mom suggested a couple of months ago that it would be generous and kind to let my sister have some input. I told her we felt it was better if we named our child ourselves. My wife and I did look at the list just to see if we liked any of the names. We did not. Names on the lists included Elizabeth, Hannah, Rosemary and Francesca for girls, and James, Edward, Patrick, and Michael for boys. Those just aren't to our preference. None of them were, and there were more names. My sister mentioned the names again recently, and she said we should pick Elizabeth for a girl and Michael for a boy. She said that's what she'd do if she were having the baby. I told her we hadn't made our mind up yet, but we're still in discussions about it. She offered to help, and I said no thanks. My wife and I wanted to figure it out between us. My sister said she wants to be a part of naming all our babies, that she would love to share all her endless thoughts on names that she'll never get to put into her own kid. I told her I understood she wanted that, but my wife and I as parents would name our child, and she does not get to be a part of that. I told her I understood that was hurtful to her, but she does not get a say. I also asked her to please stop bringing it up. My sister told me I could let her have at least a little say in this, and I said sorry, but no. She cried to Mom, who thinks we should be more sensitive, while my dad told my sister I wasn't wrong, and she needs to accept that she doesn't get to name our baby. My response has caused a divide among my parents and sister and me. It has been made clear my mom thinks I lack compassion, and my sister believes I'm hurtful to her. AITA, relevant comments. Commenter. NTA, congratulations on your upcoming baby, and also on setting and keeping personal boundaries. Of course your sister shouldn't be involved in your decisions about rearing your child, including its name. It's very sad about your sister's condition, but that doesn't change things. Your mom is being weird though, getting involved and trying to guilt you. Your dad is right, and you are right for setting a reasonable boundary together with your wife and sticking to it together. OP. I think my mom is putting some of her own heartache in the mix. She struggled with secondary infertility between having my sister and having me. I think it can make her more sensitive to what my sister is going through and make her more willing to think she should be accommodated. But it really isn't helping anyone. Commenter. I wouldn't give them this ground. It may let your sister think she has leeway to influence more of your parenting decisions, to live vicariously through you, or even start seeing your child as hers. I'd also be careful with your mother in this, and how she might be enabling or willing to enable your sister. Story 2. AITA for telling my sister and her family that they have to stay somewhere else even though they lost everything. My 30F sister, 26F, lost everything. They live in North Carolina in one of the small towns that were hit. I will not say which one is for privacy. Luckily, they were not home when it happened. Instead, they were off in Illinois for my wedding. They have been staying with me for around 3 weeks now. Both my sister and I have children. She has a 5F, 3F, 1M. I have a 6-year-old and a 2-year-old who gets into everything. I have absolutely everything locked. Cabinets, door handles, appliances, outlet covers, you name it. This is 100% needed with my toddler. Since day one of my sister being here, she has been complaining about all of the locks. She thinks they are a pain and will constantly leave everything unlocked just so she doesn't have to deal with it. My toddler and hers have been getting into absolutely everything. It's dangerous for them. It's a mess, and quite frankly, it sucks. I have tried talking to her about it, but now she's trying to play the guilt game because she lost everything, and we said she could stay here. I get it. It sucks. It's absolutely devastating to have nothing to go home to. She hasn't even fully processed it yet, but this is still my home. Yesterday, I reached my absolute limit with it when my toddler got into my cleaning closet. Luckily, all he got a hold of was the broom. I admit, I yelled at my sister. She started yelling back about losing everything. I yelled it wasn't my fault it happened and told her she needed to find somewhere else to stay. I feel awful now. She's still here while she figures something out, but we haven't said a word to each other since. AITA? Relevant comments. Commenter. NTA. When your sister pulls the "we've lost everything," tell her that her family is all safe, so she should count her blessings, and that your child-proofing of your home is to prevent further loss of harm to what is most precious, the children. You were kind enough to let her stay in your home, and with young children herself, I'm frankly amazed that she isn't more concerned with harm coming to them. We had every gadget for cabinets, doors, stairs, faucets, outlets, cords, etc. That is what parents are supposed to do. Tell her that while you feel empathy for them and their situation, you will not put the safety of the children and their well-being at risk. You have nothing to feel sorry or guilty for. It is your home, and she's not being very respectful or grateful for the help you offered to her family. Commenter. You're providing a safe space for both of your families, and your home should still feel like your own. It's understandable that your sister is going through a rough time, but safety for the kids is non-negotiable. Boundaries are important, especially when it comes to keeping the kids out of harm's way. You've tried to be understanding, but it's okay to protect your space and sanity too. Hopefully, with some time and communication, things will settle down. Story 3. AITA for asking my dad to give me at least half of the money my mom owes me. I, 19F, live with my mom, dad, and younger siblings. Ever since I turned 18, I wanted to get a job, because I wanted to have money to buy things for myself, but my parents always said no. The little money I got from my dad or aunts, uncles I'd save. But my mom always asks for it, claiming to have some emergency, and when it's time to pay back the money, she forgets she ever borrowed money from me. She doesn't only forget about money, she also borrows other items from me, breaks or loses them when I ask if she can get them replaced. She says she never borrowed them, or I'm just careless. Due to this, I stopped giving her any money. Recently, my uncle sent me some money through my mom's account, and she still hasn't given it to me, saying she had some things to buy, and she'll return the money soon. It's been 3 weeks now, and she hasn't given me the money, and I have to use it tomorrow. But when I asked her about it again, she told me she didn't get any money from me. So I told my dad to give me at least half the amount she got from me, and she got mad at me, telling me I shouldn't have involved my dad. So, AITA, relevant comments. Commenter. NTA. Your mom is a thief and is stealing from you. Let your uncle know that she has not passed the money over to you, and force the issue with your dad. Never lend her anything again, no matter what it's for, as you won't get it back. If you do, then ask for some kind of security on the loan so that you can recoup your costs when she inevitably doesn't pay you back. Commenter. I'd be checking your credit was still clean, and she hasn't run up a bunch of debt in your name. Story 4. I have come to the realization he is never going to change, and I have wasted my life. I, F34, have been with my partner, M43, for 16 years. We were 18 and 27 when we started dating. We met when I was 16. I was obsessed with him, but he wasn't interested in me. We fell out of contact and then met again. When we started our relationship, we were actually in a very equal place. I know the age gap is off-putting, but it was never an issue. We were both working similar retail jobs. We earned similar money. We had the same education level. We enjoyed the same things. We hated the same things. We were just incredibly compatible. We didn't argue for the first 3 years of our relationship. He supported everything I chose to do. He cheered me on. He was amazing and vibrant and unconditionally loving. During our 16-year relationship, I have continued to push my career. I now own my own business, fairly successful, to the point where it essentially runs itself, and I just work there. I have learned languages. My tastes in music and film have changed. I am not the same person we were when we met, but he is. 3 years ago, he had a traumatic incident in his workplace. He has not been able to go back to work, which is fine. Financially, we are fine. Could always be better, but we survive better than some. But he doesn't do anything around the house. He thinks he does, but he really doesn't. He tells me he does, but there's no evidence of it. For sake of argument, let's look at last night. I had a really long day at work with a nightmare customer, and nothing just seemed to go right no matter what I did. So at one point in the day, I sent him a message saying I could really use a big old cuddle when I get in. His response: don't worry about a thing. Dogs will be walked, house will be tidy, and tea will be ready when you walk through the door. Do you want to take a guess what I was met with when I walked in? Dogs needed to be walked. The house was a mess, which I don't understand. It was tidy when I left. We don't have kids, and the dogs haven't used the 6 dishes that are in the sink, and not even a thought of what tea was supposed to be, let alone it being ready. I didn't say anything. I just gave him a kiss and started doing the washing up. I was really upset that nothing he said would be done was done, but I didn't want to argue. I just wanted it done. As soon as I started washing up, he said, "Oh babe, don't worry about that. I'll do it now." Now I didn't mean this any other way than what I said, but I replied with, "It's fine. I'm here now. I'll have it done in a minute," which I did. But in that minute, he had gone upstairs and started to hoover. Fine, great, wonderful. A minute after that, he is banging the head of the hoover on the floor and literally having a tantrum, because he has managed to block the Hoover, which he then throws to the ground and storms off. So now I have to fix the Hoover, which I do because surprisingly slamming the head of the Hoover on the floor won't clear the blockage. In fact, it just jams the head of the Hoover onto the pipe, creating a vacuum. Don't do it. But reaching in and just pulling the blockage out will. So after I fix the Hoover and proceed to clean the carpets, I go back downstairs. He is now sitting on the chair in the kitchen, claiming that he has had a terrible day and that he is so incredibly underappreciated. Aghast, but still not wanting an argument, I tell him I am sorry I have made him feel that way, harness the dogs, and take them out. Bear in mind, I got out of work at 5 p.m., got home, tidied up, etc. It's now 6:10 p.m., and I have about 40/50 mins of light left to walk the dogs in. They are high-energy breeds and need a good run. So by the time I get back, it's 7:20 p.m., pitch black out, and he's worried about me. And because he was worried, he hadn't put tea on yet. So I do that. I left for work at 6:30 a.m., and I am still going. He goes through ups and downs of doing everything and doing nothing. But this pattern of promising me things and then never following through is happening a lot more recently. And ever increasingly, I am being blamed for his shortcomings. If something goes bad in the day, it's because I didn't do XYZ, although oftentimes he hasn't told me XYZ needed doing, or he has told me not to do it. I have had a conversation with him many times about the fact I am not a mind reader, and sometimes we have to talk to actually achieve an outcome. In the 16 years we have been together, I have become an adult. I run the house and a business. I have duties. I have people who rely on me. He doesn't want that, and that's fine, but he's doing nothing to help his partner either. He says he feels underappreciated, but I know I am underappreciated. Is this the whole sunk cost fallacy thing? We have been together so long. Our lives are completely entangled. I never wanted to get married. I wanted kids at one point, but I feel like I have delayed that because I think deep down, I don't know if I want them with him. He feels like the same person I met 18 years ago, and I feel like somebody completely different. I thought we would grow together, but he is never going to change, is he? And I am just an idiot and a dick for thinking he would grow with me. I don't want to end my relationship. Who would get the dogs? There is too big fear of the unknown. It's too difficult and painful to have a clean break. And despite all of this, I can't imagine my life without him. But this isn't the life I imagined. I feel like I am being awful. I feel like I need to do more, but I don't have anything left. But I can't say that because then he will say that I am purposefully trying to make him feel bad. I am just exhausted. Edit. I know I haven't responded to any comments, but I have read every single one of them. Thank you for the nice comments. Thank you for the harsh ones. I hear you, Reddit. I am not being kind to myself. When I get in tonight, we will be having a discussion and trying to get to the bottom of this. If it doesn't go the way it needs to, it's time to think about spending some time apart. Maybe it will give us both a new perspective. Just to offer some more information, the traumatic incident. He was the manager of a nightclub. He and his employees were held up at gunpoint. During the incident, he ended up getting pushed down the stairs to the cellar and broke his collarbone. He has had some therapy, but gave up after about 3 months when the therapist allegedly said, "You're all better," which is BS. But hey ho, I can't force him. The reason for not working was his collarbone/shoulder. But I think no, it's more to do with PTSD, because his shoulder doesn't affect him that much day to day. We both have ADHD. I am the one with the diagnosed mental health issues. I have BDP and anxiety issues, and I know I am a people pleaser, but I promise I am working on it. Relevant comments. Commenter. He's discovered that by being inept, you will do everything. Great guy in the past, but not now. You will continue to do everything. Is this want you want? Is this okay with you? You have changed. So has he. It appears he's satisfied with you doing everything regardless of how unhappy you are. He's the king of his castle now while you're working, financially responsible, and doing all the housework. Lucky guy. Commenter. Girl, bye. You're still young. Fuck him. You're like a 20-year-old still. But this time you have something that you've worked hard for and money to reflect that. You didn't waste your time. You spent that time being human and loving someone, and you made something of yourself. Commenter. Hey, just because this relationship is not serving you doesn't mean you've wasted your life. Everything you've described outside of your relationship indicate that you're a person who moves forward and grows with every year. I think the years without this man could be even more fruitful. Thank you so much for watching until the end. If you enjoyed our videos, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay updated with our latest ones. Have a great day.